nurses, Nurse Germs here, and welcome back to my channel. As promised, today's video will be a part 2 of my last video, which was all about hemoperfusion and how to set up and prime a cartridge 2-watt dialyzer. This time, we'll get rid of the dialyzer and just set up and prime the cartridge alone. In other words, it's hemoperfusion alone. The setup is almost the same, the materials are still there, just except the dialyzer. This means we will not be using the machine for what it really is for. Because we do not have a dialyzer, this means we do not need to proceed on connecting the solutions and the coupling. So let me turn this machine on so that you will see what I'm trying to explain here. Once you turn on the machine, you will be directed to this program selection screen that gives you the option to actually choose hemodialysis or disinfection. So we are still going to use the hemodialysis program screen mode, even though we will not be using a dialyzer. Because if we are going to choose the disinfection, you will be directed to the rinsing mode, which actually makes use of the RO water. And if you are going to do the hemoperfusion for 2 hours, then of course it will be using the reverse osmosis water for 2 hours. So to avoid that, let's use the hemodialysis screen instead. Okay, so as soon as you click the hemodialysis, the machine will then prep for the dialysis mode. So as you can see this, it will run into different tests and etc. But we will just ignore that one. And in a few, okay, so it will be testing a lot of things. For the first one, it will be the sound and lead test, the SMPSC pre-ROM test, and etc. And after all those tests are done, it will then prompt you to connect acid or concentrate. And as the next procedure or the next step, it will again prompt you to connect to coupling. But then we will ignore all of that because what we will only be using for this machine is the blood pump to recirculate the patient's blood in and out of the cartridge. Since the default blood flow is on 0, blood pump is not running. But when you try to increase this one, as you can see, the blood pump is now running. So this is the only thing that we need when we will perform the hemoperfusion. As a review from the previous video, hemoperfusion uses 3 main solutions. One is 1 liter plain NSS, second is D5 water 500 ml, and the last one is the 1 liter plain NSS incorporated with 5,000 IU heparin. So starting with the hemoperfusion with dialysis, you start first with 1 liter plain NSS since you will prime first the dialyzer. Then next is a D5 water 500 ml because this time you will be priming the cartridge. Afterwards, you will connect the cartridge to the dialyzer. Thereby, you use another 1 liter plain NSS to prime both the dialyzer and the cartridge. Then, the last solution to be used will be the 1 liter incorporated with 5,000 IU heparin. Now, let's discuss the functions of each priming solution. First, normal saline. As we all know, normal saline is the typical priming solution used in most lines. The primary purpose is to simply remove the air within the lines, thereby preventing it on entering the body. On the other hand, when talking about the dialyzer, most especially that we need to use a new dialyzer, aside from removing air from the extracorporeal circuit, it also ensures substantially that all the sterilant and other chemical debris within it has been removed. Thus, it needs to be recirculated, rinse out completely for 10 minutes until the machine signals acknowledged data. For the D5 water, the dextrose prevents a drop in blood glucose levels at the start of the treatment. Then it is followed by 1 liter plain NSS to eliminate the hypotonic medium that may cause hemolysis. For the last solution, the incorporation of 5,000 IU heparin to the 1 liter plain NSS helps lessen the chances of clotting within the bloodlines and chambers during the treatment. Now moving on, this is what the whole setup of the hemoperfusion alone looks like. The dialyzer is just removed. Therefore, the connector that comes with the cartridge is not anymore needed, so you just hook the dialyzer ends directly to the cartridge. For the priming and setup, I will be using the previous video to fully differentiate the two procedures. I think that way it's easier to remember things when you know the differences between the two. First, you have to set up the dialysis machine and prime both the bloodlines and the dialyzer. After the recirculation or the rinsing of UF is done, do not acknowledge the data yet. Stop the bloodlines. Change the 1 liter plain NSS to the D5 water 500 ml. Since we will not be using a dialyzer, we prime the bloodlines using the D5 water directly instead with the usual normal saline. Then open the cartridge using the opener that comes with it. However, in this video, since the cartridge has been previously opened, we skipped using that. Drain the sterilant inside the cartridge. Since the cartridge is not color-coded the same as the dialyzer, the label orientation indicates where the top and bottom is. The cartridge, on the other hand, it is the opposite. The top of the cartridge is the blue one, while the bottom is the red one. Same step for this one, open the cartridge and then drain the sterilant following the label orientation. So you tilt the top part of the cartridge when draining. When connecting, just remove the arterial end from the dialyzer and connect it to the bottom of the cartridge. In our case, since the dialyzer ends are not hooked to a dialyzer, you simply get the arterial or the red dialyzer end and hook it to the bottom part of the cartridge. Lower the blood flow rate to 100 ml per minute as soon as you start the blood pump. Make sure the top part of the cartridge is pointed towards the bin, so now you are rinsing it with the newly hooked D5 water 500 ml. Wait until consumed, then stop the bloodline. Same step for this one. Change the empty D5 water 500 ml to 1 liter plain NSS. As a note, D5 water is always followed by 1 liter plain NSS. As previously discussed, D5 water prevents a drop in blood glucose levels at the start of the treatment. Then it is followed by 1 liter plain NSS to help eliminate the hypotonic medium that may cause hemolysis. So, D5 water, then 1 liter plain NSS. The cartridge also comes with a connector. Connect the blue end to the top part of the cartridge and the red end to the top part of the dialyzer. Again, since the dialyzer ends are not hooked to a dialyzer, you simply get the venous or blue dialyzer end and hook it, this time, to the top part of the cartridge. Since the bloodlines is in circulation setup, disconnect the patient ends. Clip the venous end to the bin and place the arterial end somewhere where it can be held on. Start the blood pump. Now you are rinsing it with the newly hooked 1 liter of plain NSS. Same step for this one. Wait until consumed, then stop the bloodline. Change the empty 1 liter plain NSS to the 1 liter plain NSS with 5,000 IU heparin. Start the blood pump. Now you are rinsing it with the newly hooked 1 liter plain NSS plus the 5,000 IU heparin. However, this time you only need to consume 700 ml. Afterwards, recirculate the remaining 300 ml for 20 minutes. For the last 5 minutes, increase the blood flow rate to 200 ml per minute. Once done, change it back to 1 liter plain NSS and you're all ready to hook it to the patient. Click Acknowledge Data. Same step for this one, except for the Acknowledge Data part. You simply hook it to the patient. Okay, so that's all for now. Hope you learned something from this video. If yes, don't forget to click like, leave a comment for video suggestions, and of course, subscribe to my channel. Stay tuned for my next videos as I take you with me in discovering nursing career. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.